We're with Demon football coach Jay Thomas, whose team has a home game Saturday. Finally, after 43 days, the Demons will tee it up in Turpin Stadium Saturday evening at 6 against Incarnate Word. Coach, they say there's no place like home. You guys have got to be happy to be back here.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth. Yes, it's going to be good to be home. It's been quite a while since August 28th, since we played a game. I know our guys will be excited about it. And you're right, there's no place like home. Turpin Stadium playing here, our fans, everybody's tailgating. Incarnate Word coming in, had a huge win last weekend against Houston Baptist, so it'll be an exciting game.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Let's go back to Saturday's game at Southeastern against the defending conference champions, and you're throwing in the end zone at the end of the game to try to force overtime, despite a lot of adversity during the game. Talk about that game.
Well, I'll tell you what, obviously we always tip our hat to our opponents, and Southeastern played a good game, made the plays when they needed to make them. I'd like to say this, I'm very proud of our guys, our team, our effort. Felt like we fought for 60 minutes. Like you said, we had an opportunity, at the end of the game, came up with a couple big plays. Having a quarterback like Zach, even though we had some mistakes along the way, but still the guy gave us a chance to tie the game up, So anytime you have a player like that, you always feel like you have an opportunity to win a football game. And, I thought that across the board, like I said, the effort was tremendous. It was a very good atmosphere, very competitive. It's an in-state rival game, so it's going to be heated along the way. We didn't make the plays. We had opportunities to make some plays. We made too many mistakes that really flipped the field position on us. We had some kicks that were blocked, that were momentum swings, of course, to Southeastern. And just when you play really good football teams, the penalties, those things add up, and it makes it really difficult to try to get it done. We still have a really good football team. Obviously a lot of football still yet to be played, 7 conference games. It's a long road, and anything can happen. So it's every weekend. We got to be ready to play. Incarnate Word's coming in this weekend, and we have to get ready for this one.
Your team showed something remarkable Saturday with its defensive performance. Southeastern, in its 20 games with Brian Bennett at quarterback, has never been held down as low as the Lions were Saturday. What made the difference for the Demon defense?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can see our defense really maturing. And, Coach Lucas and the defensive staff have done a really good job. But our kids really believe in what we're trying to get done. Switching systems a little bit, from last year to this year, our guys are starting to understand, how to put it together. But I think just watching us play, as a group, as a unit, the effort, that's what it takes on defense. It takes a lot of grit, it takes a lot of effort. Obviously, the tackling has to be really good and have to be in the right position to be able to make those plays. And executed the game plan very well. Thought our guys did. Collectively, our linebacker group, as a group, played probably their best game. All the guys did a nice job. And then, of course, Bennett is a very talented guy as well. And I think he only got out a couple of times, in the game. So, I tip our hats to our defense. Played really well, and very excited about their play.
All right, let's turn the page to the Cardinals of Incarnate Word. The best running back on the field won't be dressed out. He'll be on the Incarnate Word sideline, former Heisman Trophy winner Ricky Williams. But that's a team, as you said, coming off a win with a veteran head coach. And just as the Demons have been a couple times this season, they'll be the underdog, but you don't just automatically chalk this one up, do you?
Oh, no. They're still working and finding their way with their team and, through the conference. Played a lot of conference games so far. You look at their schedule, and I think they played just about everybody in the conference. So they've had a pretty competitive early schedule. Good football team, very well coached. And like you mentioned, they got coaches on the staff and been around doing this thing a long time. And, got a lot of talent. Just now getting to the film as far as offensively, watching them on offense. Very well coached. They like to run the power game. You can see Ricky's coaching. You can definitely tell he's coaching the running backs. You know, he's got the guys running downhill really good. He's got a running back that kind of looks like him a little bit. You know, 220-pound guy, about 5'9", 5'10", runs the ball really well. So, yeah, it's going to be another challenge. It's a different style of offense, you know, than we saw last couple of weeks. You got to roll your sleeves up and go to work. You know, it's going to be a physical ball game.
For the Demons, obviously cleaning up the kicking game, it's a really strange thing to evaluate because you did some really good things in special teams, but clearly the block kicks and the long kickoff return were major mistakes.
Yes, and it's something we've done really well so far this year. And our protection's been really good, you know, and that's going against, you know, Baylor and Louisiana Tech and those guys. So got to give Southeastern credit. They came up with a scheme where they could put a jumper behind and get movement. You know, and they had a guy that could actually get up and jump, and he got up, you know, and got his hand on the ball. So gave up a little bit too much push there on our protection, and it's something that we got to fix. You know, technically we need to get better at it. Personnel-wise, we'll take a look at that too, and see what adjustments we can make to it. So we got to make sure that our kicker and our holders, they feel very confident in what we're trying to get done up front. Yep, and the kickoff return, that's on me. You know, we should have went against my rule. Usually after a penalty, we take a little bit different approach and usually squib or sky, and we decide to kick the ball deep. You would think we'd learned our lesson from last year, you know, but obviously we didn't. Get a little hard-headed, a little stubborn. So the next time, probably see one of those other kicks happen the next time. But anyway, got to give them credit. They made the plays, and we do need to get better. And then we had some groups that played really well. Thought we punted the ball very well. Thought our coverage teams on punt protection was good. We got to get better at it. We got to get better at blocking kicks ourselves on defense. You know, we still hadn't got to the point where teams like Southeastern, you know, they take advantage of every little opportunity in the game. We have to get there too as well. If we want to be able to be conference champions, you got to play every down, and as hard as you can play it. So I think we'll learn something from this, and hopefully we'll carry it over into this weekend, and our team will continue to get better.
Homecoming festivities, a week full of activities on campus. This is not your first homecoming either here at Northwestern or as a head coach. Talk about the pros and cons of homecoming for the football team.
Well, I always enjoy it. It's a special time. You know, it's a lot of fun for the players, alumni, you know, particularly the student body. You know, it gives us a chance to connect with our student body a little bit more. You know, our students are great. You know, first home game at a big turnout. We really appreciate that, and it ought to be a lot of fun just connecting with them this week, being back at home, homecoming, get to see a lot of the former players, all the alumni get to come back and hang out. And obviously we want to play well and put on a good show for those folks. But it's a busy week, but it's all about how you handle it. And, you know, it's what we call clutter, but it's good clutter, you know, it's the way I look at it. So just relax, enjoy it, and have fun. You know, in the coaching world, we get one, you know, every year. So, you know, these guys, you know, when they get done playing, then that'll be it. So you want to make sure they have, you know, a good week and they get to enjoy it too as well.
You practice a lot of things as a football coach. Are you going to practice riding in the homecoming parade?
Well, you know, maybe, I don't know. You know, I usually have to just go over and make sure no legs are hanging in the wrong spot. You know, we're not standing in the wrong spot. That's my biggest concern, you know. No one falls off the float, please. So how you handle yourself, and you know, it'll be fun. I don't know if we need to practice that or not, but we definitely will be around it to make sure we handle it the right way.
We'll hope you handle the float as well as you handled the onside kick last Saturday.
Oh, that was beautiful. Great kick. Andy kicked the ball. I know he was trying to set it on the tee. It's interesting. You can ask him about this, you know, when he gets to it. So it's a good story. Coach Manch and I were talking about it. Couldn't get it to sit up on the tee the way he wanted it to. So he just thought about his old Pee Wee or junior high days and just leaned it up against the tee. So hey, let's just keep kicking it that way. I mean, it was a great kick. The ball bounced just right, and a tremendous effort by Tuff McLean. You know, to cut in front of the guy, to get the ball loose, and then actually recover it. So, hey, it was an exciting ball game. It was a lot of fun. You know, had a guest in the locker room before the game and on the sideline. You know, Coach Ed Orgeron, and it was just exciting to have him around. You know, it was had everything going. I mean, as a fan, I had to enjoy it. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on. As a coach, I wasn't enjoying some of it, but it was really a fun game last weekend, and I think this weekend is going to be the same way. It's going to be an exciting football game. It's Southland Conference. It's always Southland strong. It's going to be tough. It's going to be competitive. You got to get ready to play each and every week.
We're looking forward to it. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We're with Demon receiver and kick returner Ed Eagan. Ed, talk about your opportunities in this upcoming game Saturday against Incarnate Word for homecoming.
Well, there's always opportunities in every game. I think we're just going to have a good week of practice and have a good plan. I think it'll be all right.
Is this a time of year you've been close to breaking some returns? Is this a time of year where you kind of feel like, let's get one to the house?
Well, that's the mindset you got to have every kick return. You want to take it to the house, and we have a great coach and Coach Mangin, and his plans are doing great. So I just got to keep getting the coaching, and one will happen.
All right, Saturday's game at Southeastern, offensively, 4 interceptions suffered by the Demons. How does the passing game bounce back this week?
Well, we just got to work harder in practice. The week of practice wasn't up to par and how we usually are, so if we just get back to work, I think we'll be back to how we usually are.
Talk about playing at home for the first time in 43 days.
It feels good to be back. We've been away for so long, and you know, traveling a lot is really tiring, so it feels good to be back at home and just resting and relaxing.
Appreciate it, Ed. Thank you. Senior linebacker Tyler Roussel, the Demon defense, the Purple Swarm, coming off a vintage performance, although not in a winning effort at Southeastern. But you guys have got to feel a great sense of pride having held that offense to 235 yards and 2 touchdowns, really.
Yes, sir. We came off strong. The defense played the plan that our defensive staff made for us. It was a great plan. We kind of had the easy job, just play the plays that they made for us, and the plan they set up. The extra bye week helped us a lot, prepare for them, and Southeastern has a great offense. Everyone knows how good their offense is, so we knew it was going to be a big challenge. And on Saturday we came out ready to go, and we showed what our D is able to do.
For you particularly, it was a special game because you were hurt late in the Louisiana Tech game, and at one point thought your season was over. In fact, it wasn't until this past Tuesday that you found out you were going to be able to continue to play. So this had to be special for you.
It was a big game because it's also almost like a home game for me because I live not too far from Hammond. I had a lot of friends and family there at the game. So I was trying to do anything I could to get back. So I had to do a lot of extra work to get back into shape. And our athletic staff here did a lot to help me get back. And it was a great feeling when I finally can play, and even better when I was able to go play down south where all my friends and family were.
Well, you'll have a lot of friends and family in the stands on Saturday. The Demons at home for the first time in 43 days. What does it mean to you guys to play in Turpin Stadium?
It's a sigh of relief almost. We've been traveling nonstop. We were talking about that the other day, just it's nonstop travel and it's starting to wear us out a little bit. Just to be able to be home in front of all of our fans, alumni, students, it's a great feeling to finally be back in Turpin Stadium.
Same question I asked Coach Thomas. You know, you practice almost everything in football. You guys are going to ride on a float in the homecoming parade. Do you practice that?
Well, we should. We probably should, but that's just one of the things you got to just go with it.
So have you ridden on a float before?
I've never ridden on a float, surprisingly. Being in New Orleans and seeing all the parades, I've never got a chance to ride one. It was one of the things I always wanted to do as a kid, but just something I was never able to do.
Are you ready to throw something, mister?
Oh, I hope so. Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Junior punter Andy Wickman, who also played a big role late in the game with an onside kick Saturday at Southeastern, Now the Demons are coming home to play Incarnate Word and homecoming on Saturday. Andy, let's go backwards for a second. A very intense game in Hammond. Special teams play was both a big positive and a negative for the Demons. From a punting perspective, Coach Thomas was pleased with what happened. What about you?
I think it went really well. Our team got downfield really well. They were able to get in the guy's face and, help to get a muff punt. As soon as he dropped it, Adam Jones was right there to pick it up. Great snaps all night from Hunter Graves, and phenomenal plays, fake punts with Deaver going on the outside and making the most out of everything he got.
For the second straight week, you've had a booming punt that was mishandled by the opponents, and we recovered a fumble. How are you keeping this going?
I think that all has to do with the guys getting downfield. I've got great protection. They're protecting for me well, giving me my time, and just getting a great punt off, and they're getting down in their face, and we haven't had a yard return on us yet, and that says a lot about the coverage downfield, because the returners know that they're going to be right there and getting in their face messes with them for sure.
That is a pretty remarkable stat that nobody's returned a punt effectively against the Demons this year. As punter, you've got to feel a great sense of pride as being part of that unit.
Yes, sir. It's a great feeling. It really is a great feeling to know that that's an aspect that's really difficult for teams to come against us. But again, it's the returners. It's the returners, and it's the guys getting downfield, making sure that he doesn't get a yard. And if he's getting any yards, it's going negative.
All right, talk about the onside kick, because it was pretty obvious watching that you had to do some finagling to get the ball just the way you needed it.
Yes, sir. Well, I was setting it up in the way I usually set it up, and it just wasn't working. Maybe it was the strong winds down south, but finally, after like 10 tries, I decided to just put it on the ground and let's just go for it, and hit the ball. Tuff made a spectacular play, and came down with the ball, fought for it, crawled on the ground just to get that ball. Great effort, did everything he needed to do to get the ball, and really gave our team a chance to come back.
Okay, now you've got homecoming this week in addition to a conference game. With preparing for homecoming and all the activities, how much of that can be a distraction, or how much of it is fun for the team?
It's always fun because there's so much excitement. There's a great atmosphere. It's a very different atmosphere. A lot of distractions here and there, but focusing on the game is the most important thing for us as a team. But the school pride during homecoming is it's unreal. Everybody's going to the game, excited for the game, talk about the game, and the festivities are just another part of it. But it's ultimately the only thing that matters is this game.
All right, you got the homecoming parade. How do you guys prepare for the homecoming parade, or do you prepare for getting on a float?
Well, Coach Thomas does a really good job of making sure we stay safe, and in years past we've done it. We've ridden on the float every year, and we've stayed safe, been able to. We know what to do. Coach Thomas makes it very key to, don't stand up in wrong spots, don't have your feet off, don't get off the float at any time. So shouldn't have any problems with that.
Well, we'll try to keep it between the sidelines then.
Yes, sir.
All right, Andy, thank you.
Yes, sir.